Good morning, Sanbonani, Goeiemorgen. Can we rise for the national anthem? Thank you very much. We are from the National Assembly.
Sibonge kakhulu sisuka eParliament likazwelonke.
We are a portfolio committee of the National Assembly on mineral resources and energy.
Si portfolio committee lapha ya kuParliament likazwelonke elivela kumnyango wezokumbiwa namandla.
For which it conducts oversight over the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy.
Ikomiti ke lethu libheka lengamele ukubuka imisebenzi yomnyango wezokumbiwa namandla.
We are here because the Department of Mineral Resources has made proposals for a legislation that they are suggesting.
Silana ke namhlanje ngoba umnyango lo sushilo wezokumbiwa namandla usufake iziphakamiso ukuthi kunomthetho okumele ushaywe noma uphasiswe.
So for now it is not a law, it is a bill.
Njengamanje akakabi siwona umthetho suphasile kusengumthetho sivivinywa.
When the bill was referred to the portfolio committee by the Speaker of Parliament,
ngesikhathi kumthetho sivivinywa ulethwa la kithi njenge portfolio committee ilethwa usomlomo weParliament.
Instead of discussing and making recommendations on the bill, the committee decided to conduct public hearings first.
Kunokuthi ke siucubungule siudingide lo mthetho sivivinywa sinqume ukuthi asiqale siyozwa abantu ukuthi bathini kuqala.
Those who are a little bit of my age will know that in the past it was never a procedure or a norm to follow.
Laba sebekhulile njengami bayazi ukuthi esikhathini esiphuma kuso sedlule lena kwangesiyona nje indlela inqubo okwakwenziwa ngayo.
We used to have laws that were binding us, but we never participated in the process of lawmaking.
Kwakunemthetho eyayisibopha nathi isilawula kodwa singesiyona ingxenye yokushaywa kwaleyo mthetho.
So now the public has also a role to play.
Manje umphakathi noma abantu sebenengxenye okufanele bayidlale.
So as a portfolio committee, we will only discuss and make recommendations on the bill when we have finalized the public hearings.
Tina njenge portfolio committee so cubungula sithathe inqumo senze inqumo ngalomthetho sivivinyo uma sesiqedile ukuzwa izimvo zabantu.
For now, KZN is the third province and you are the last leg of our visit in KZN.
Okwamanje kwaZulu Natal sekuyisifundazwe sesithathe sisivakashelayo namhlanje siyagcina la kwaZulu Natal.
So I always urge people that when you get this opportunity, please make use of it.
Ngihlale ngibanxenxa abantu ngibacela ukuthi uma nithola leli thuba lisebenziseni ngamandla enu onke.
We are here to listen. What is your view on the proposed bill?
Sizela ukuzomamela ukuthi uthini umbono wenu ngalemthetho sivivinywa ophakanyisiwe noma setafuleni.
So we can't answer question on the bill when we have not discussed it.
Ngakho asikwazi ukuphendula imibuzo ngalomthetho sivivinywa ngani ngoba sikakawudingidi.
As I said, these are proposals from the department, not from the portfolio committee.
Njengoba ngishilo ukuthi lezi esiyiphethe yiphakamiso eyivela kumnyango engaveli kithi njengekomiti.
So sometimes people stand up and ask questions on the bill. We can't give you answers on something that is not ours.
Kwesinye isikhathi abantu basukuma bazobuza imibuzo ngomthetho sivivinyo asikwazi ukuniphendula ngento ongesiyona eyethu.
So we want straight answers, straight comments from you.
Ngakho sifuna kini imibono nje ecacile ba nezwakalayo ukuthi nithini nina ngalomthetho sivivinywa na.
For instance, where there is a proposal of 10, some people ask us a question, how did you arrive at 10%? We don't know because it's not us who are proposing 10% for black-owned companies. It is the department on the bill that is suggesting that there must be 10% allocated for black-owned companies.
Uma ngenza isibonelo nje kunesiphakamiso la esikhona kulomqingo ukuthi inkampani zabantu abamnyama ayithole ingxenye engamapercent ayishumi ukuthi ikwazi ukusebenza nazo kulemboni. So abantu mabangasukumi lababuza ukuthi nifike kanjani kulo 10%? Akusithini esikhuluma u10%, umnyango osaphakamisile ukuthi inkampani ezimnyama ayithole u10%.
So you have a right to stand up and say, no, we reject the 10% proposed. I am suggesting 50% or 51%, whatever percentage, or 30%. We have to take what you are saying as a record.
Ngakho wena unelungelo ukuthi hayi lo 10% ngiyamchitha ngithi mncane mina ngithi akube u30% noma u50% noma u51% usho noma ikuphi ongakusho thina njoba sila sizoshicilela ukuthi abantu bathi.
So all what you are expecting is you telling us what is your view or your opinion on the proposals in the bill.
Kusho ukuthi sikulindele ukuthi nina sizwe izimvo zenu ukuthi nithini ngale iphakamiso eyishiwo yilomthetho sivivinywa.
Where possible, tell us which clauses that you are making reference to on the bill.
Singakujabulela ukuthi usho ukuthi ukhuluma ngasiphi isigaba kulomqingo ubeke ucaca ngikhuluma ngale sigaba lesithi mina ngithi akube kanje.
But we are not going to limit you on the comment that you must quote a clause.
Asithi ke kodwa kungaphawuli la uma ungezukusho isigaba ukuthi ngikhuluma ngosigaba bani ukhulekile nje ukuthi usho izimvo zakho.
Only us when you are in parliament where they will ask you when you stand up on which rule.
Yithi ke thina le parliament uma uthi uyasukuma uthi usukuma ngamuphi umthetho.
So for here, you have a right to comment. We will look for the clause that you are making reference to.
La njoba sila uvumelekile ukuthi usho izimvo zakho sesizobona ukuthi ukhuluma ngasiphi isigaba kulezi ezibhaliwe la kulomqingo.
Just few proposals that are contained.
Iphakamiso ke ezimbalwa ezikhona la kulomqingo.
On the bill proposed by the department.
Kulomthetho sivivinywa ophakanyiswa umnyango.
One of those is that they are suggesting that there must be a standalone legislation that will regulate the petroleum provisions.
Okunye abakuphakamisa bathi akube khona umthetho oqondene ngqo nezokumbiwa nokuthuthukiswa kwemboni yeoyela.
Currently, you've got the MPRDA, which is the Minerals and Petroleum Resources Development Act.
Njengamanje sinomthetho okuthiwa MPRDA okuwona okhona njengamanje.
They are now saying we must separate petroleum from mineral provision by having a legislation that only regulates petroleum.
Sebethi ke manje asihlukanise imboni kapetroleum kanye nemboni yezokumbiwa phansi.
So you have a right to say you reject this proposed bill. You have a right also to say you reject the separation of petroleum provisions from mineral provisions. But what it means is that in the rejection of the bill, it means the current legislation will remain as it is.
Unelungelo kokusukuma uthi hayi ngiyawuchitha mina lo mthetho sivivinyo, ngiyachitha mina okwahlukaniswa kwezokumbiwa kanye nemboni kaoyela. Uma uyichitha lezi phakamiso zomthetho sivivinyo kusho ukuthi umthetho lokhona njengamanje uzohlale unjalo ungashintshiwe.
They also propose, they say also the bill's intention is to accelerate exploration and regulation of the industry.
Baphinde futhi umthetho sivivinyo uhlinzeke ukusheshishwa nokuhlolwa nokukhiqizwa kwemithombo kaoyela.
They also say that the bill's intention is to enhance state participation in the upstream petroleum industry.
Umthetho sivivinyo futhi uhlose ukuthuthukisa ukubamba iqhaza kombuso embonini yokukhiqizwa kaoyela wasolwandle.
Amongst others also is a proposal that there must be a state-owned. Yes, ma'am. Ilinde zobuya siswam, don't worry. Ngiyabonga ukungikhumbuza.
Thanks for reminding me.
It also proposes a state-owned petroleum company.
Uphinde futhi uphakamise ukuthi uhulumeni akabe nenkampani yakhe kahulumeni egxile kwimboni yepetroleum.
Again, you have a right to reject that, you have a right to support it.
Nalapho futhi unelungelo lokuchitha, unelungelo lokwamukela lokho.
But please give us your reasons.
So cela umuntu uyawuvuma noma uyawuchitha umthetho sivivinyo usho izizathu zakho.
For instance, others says you don't need a new state-owned petroleum company when there are some that exist.
Abanye bathi hayi asiyidingi inkampani enye kahulumeni yepetroleum zikhona ezinye inkampani zikahulumeni.
Some say you don't need that company, and I'm not saying me, I'm saying in other areas, you don't need that company because we have a crisis of the existing state-owned companies.
Akusho mina kusho abanye kwezinye indawo bathi hayi asiyidingi enye inkampani ephethwe uhulumeni ngani ngoba sinenhlekelele eyenzeka einkampanini zikahulumeni.
But some say yes, you need the state-owned petroleum company because it can only play that, the state can only play that role if it has got a company that does that on behalf of the state.
Abanye bathi yiya impela uhulumeni akabe nayo inkampani yepetroleum eqondene nalemboni ngani ngoba yileyo ngxenye yilelo lungelo kuphela uhulumeni angakhona ukuthi abe yingxenye yalemboni.
There is also a provision that talks to the role of the Petroleum Agents of South Africa, which is PASA, which is about authorization of licenses as well as a technical advisor to the minister.
Kuphinde futhi kukhulunywe ngophasa, kukhulunywe nangongoti abathile okufanele babe khona abazosiza ukululeka umphathiswa ngezinqumo zalemboni.
It is also a proposal that black-owned companies must get 10% of the benefits in terms of investments.
Kunesigaba esihlinzeka ukubamba iqhaza kwamaphesenti ali-10 kwabantu abamnyama kumalungelo ka-oyela ngokwembandela yezohwebo.
There is also a proposal according to the bill that it caters for the protection of environment, 1, 2, it will enhance the development and localization of skills in the petroleum industry.
Umthetho sivivinyo futhi uphinde ukhulume ngokuvikelwa kwemvelo kanjalo nokuthuthukiswa kwamakhono womphakathi ozobe wakhele lezi zimboni lezi.
There are other proposals that then I'm sure you will also be aware that you will want to share. I can't preempt all of them.
Zikhona ezinye iphakamiso ezinye nizaziyo nezinye nizoyiphakamisa angikwazi ukugeqa amagula ngazo.
Like I said at the beginning, that please feel free to express yourself on what you think.
Njengoba
You have a right to reject the bill. You have a right to support the bill. Ours is to record what you are saying.
Njoba ngishilo ekuqaleni ukhululekile ukusho izimvo zakho zonke ngalomthetho sivivinyo usho ukuthi uyawuchitha usho ukuthi uyawuvuma umsebenzi wethu namhlanje ukuqopha nokushicilela konke enizokusho.
Now before I go to the procedure, like I said that we are the portfolio committee of the National Assembly on mineral resources and energy.
Ngaphambi kokuthi ngisho ukuthi sizosebenza kanjani namhlanje ngishilo ukuthi siyi-portfolio committee evela kwiParliamente kazwelonke thina siyi-portfolio committee yezokumbiwa namandla.
On my far right, we have Honorable Phillips.
Kwesokudla sinomhlonishwa uPhillips.
Next to her, we have Honorable Bilankulu.
Eduze kwakhe umhlonishwa uBilankulu.
Next to me, on my right, is Honorable Malinga.
Umhlonishwa uMalinga eduze kwami.
On my left, we have Honorable Volmarans.
Kwesokunxele umhlonishwa uVolmarans.
Next to Honorable Volmarans, we have got Honorable Mutsepe.
Sinomhlonishwa uMtsepe ngale.
Please, ningamceli imali bakwethu akahlangene nobaba uMtsepe.
Please don't ask him money. It's not related to Mr. Mtsepe.
We have Honorable Zungula,
Sinomhlonishwa uZungula.
and we have Honorable Chafta,
Sibe nomhlonishwa uJafta.
and the only person who is I'm Mr. Luzipo, the chairperson of the portfolio committee.
Mina ngedwa ke ongumnumzane la, umnumzane uLuzipho owusihlalo waleli committee.
Now, we are going to do it like this way.
Sizosebenza kanjena ke namhlanje.
1, feel free to express yourself in a language of your choice.
Okokuqala uvumelekile ukuthi ukhulume ulimi oluthandayo nolobele.
But please, not Portuguese. We don't have any person who can do interpretation for that.
Ungabusi uyale ko Portugal, hayi asinabo abavela khona bakhuluma lolo limi.
But if you want to do Sesotho, Tswana, we will ask our honorable members here to assist. But we know here is predominantly Zulu and English.
Siyazi ukuthi sikwaZulu la sigwele kaMthaniya silindele nje uMageba no George cha.
Lastly, there are chairs here.
Bese ngicina ngokuthi kunezihlalo la phakathi kwethu.
Please, let's first respect the procedures of the meeting.
Ngiyocela sihloniphe inqubo mgomo yalomhlangano.
Just 3 things.
Izinto ezintathu nje kuphela.
You only go to those chairs and take the number equal to what I would have given you.
Uya kulesi sihlalo uyohlala uqondane nenombolo engisuke ngikunikeze yona.
So if you are number 3, you will go to the chair, that is the 3rd chair.
Uma ngithe ngowesithathu uhamba uyohlala esihlalweni sesithathu.
2,
Kwesibili
let's just choose our language that we use.
sikhethe ulimi ozolusebenzisa.
Because we have been in other places where people, an elder person will say a language that I always say, then how do you complain about our kids on who they are when yourself as an elder, you can't choose words. So let's just use words that you know yourself, if it were to be referred to you, you would not worry about it.
Kwezinye indawo ufica umuntu omdala ekhulume esebenzisa amagama ubone kahle ukuthi kaze uthini einganeni zakhe uma yena emdala esebenzisa amagama
So
nje.
let's just respect one another.
Asihloniphaneni usebenzisa amagama ongawathokozele nokuthi asetshenziswe kuwe.
Thirdly, please, you can see your hall is almost full. Be conscious of time. We won't give you more than 5 minutes.
Okwesithathu uyabona ihholo ligcwele asibambeni isikhathi ngeke sikunikeze imizuzu engaphezulu kowesihlanu
Because everyone must be given an opportunity to speak.
ngoba wonke umuntu la akanikezwe ithuba lokukhuluma.
It will be the choice of that person not to speak, not us blocking a person not to speak because of time.
Akubo ukhetha komuntu ukuthi ngeke aphawule hayi evalelwa yithi sithi akakwazi ukuphawula ngenxa yesikhathi.
But also the last thing we say what you think, not to respond to someone who said what he or she thinks.
Siyocela futhi ukuthi nje usho lokho okucabangayo wena ungasukumi la uzophendula ukuthi omunye uthe mina ngithi yisho lokho wena ofisa ukusho ungaphendula abanye.
If it is possible, we'll arrange a day where you can exchange your views. For now, we'll only listen to your view.
Uma kwenzeka siyolaka ithuba ngelinye ilanga la sinohlangana khona ke niphikisane kahle kahle niqeda ninkani. Kodwa kwamanje sicela nje ukuzwa umbuzo wakho wedwa ukuthi wena uthini msalo.
Hayi uyangimosha. Awuzusibuza umbuzo, uzositshela ukuthi ucabangani. Uthini wena manje uyafuneka uyigadi uzosukuma umuntu la athi ukuthi esingawubuza umbuzo.
Okay.
Ningasibuza umbuzo sitshene ngoba nathi asikawuxoxi lo mthetho.
Don't ask us questions. Chair is correcting me. Don't ask us questions. Just air your views and stick to that.
Then my last thing on this one, please let's stick to the bill.
Osicelo sami sokugcina ke kule ngicela sikhuluma umthetho sivivinywa kuphela.
We went to other places, people will tell us, I want to know what had happened to my title deed. Unfortunately, we are not in human settlement. We will not know anything about your title deed.
Siyeze kwenye indawo ufika umuntu basibuze ngamatayitela ukuthi kwenzakalani ngetayitela lami noma kuzokwenzakalani kulo. Asisiwe umnyango wezokuhlalisa abantu noma wezezindla sazi lutho ngalokho sicela sikhulume ngalokho kuphela.
Let me say this also. We can't listen about mining, we are about petroleum. But I will tell you what you must do if you've got a complaint about mining as activities of mining. But also, we are not bringing a project.
Nokunye asikhulumi kakhulu ngemboni yezimayini. Sikhuluma njengamanje ngokuthuthukiswa nokukhiqizwa kaoyela wasolwandle. Kodwa ukuthi uma ufuna ukukhuluma ngemayini ke nje wenabe sizokutshela ukuthi uzoyapha uzokwenza njani.
We will announce what to do when you've got complaints. For now, we are talking about the proposed bill.
Sizonichazela ukuthi kuzoya kanjani phambili okwamanje sikhuluma nje ngqo ngomthetho sivivinywa lo esuphethe.
Now, can we take hands?
Sesingathatha izandla manje.
Number one, yangixaka ngizose ngithi manje lo yena atsika kodwa ke sekhanda. Number two, white shirt. Number 3, yellow. Number 3, number 4, the navy cap. Number 5, shuttle pink. I hope I'm not colorblind. Oh, I can't disadvantage you when you do such a good thing sitting in front. What is your now pink? Number 5, number 6. There is a hand there. Yes, 7. Number 8, I think it's a jean jacket. Number 9, number 10. We will come for the next round. Number 10. Oh, sorry. Please also give us your name and surname.
Uma uzempopeni sicela usitshele igama lakho nesibongo sakho.
Receive my greetings. Laba ngaphambili ngibingelele nendlu yonke ngokufika kwayo.
Greetings to the chair and the committee and everybody present.
Igama nguDon Ngwashange from Ward 36 Brighton.
My name is Don Shange from Ward 36 Brighton.
My views are not sponsored. My views are not sponsored.
O imbono yami ayikhasiwe.
Mina ngiya-endorse ibill kwi-separation of oil and gas.
I endorse the bill particularly on the separation of oil and gas.
I reject 10% kuma black-owned companies since izwe kungelethu asikwazi ukuthi sicindezelwe abokufika.
I therefore reject the 10% proposition because we can't be oppressed by foreigners.
40% esiwudingayo.
We need 40%.
Or else government magabe na 51% abe total control yezinto ezenzakalayo kumayinweni.
Another suggestion would be that government gets 50% share, so
51%.
51% so that he has a controlling share.
80% oil siyawuthenga and i-value yakhona iya appreciate. Only found out uma sesinako lokhu kungani sikudedele kwabokuhamba.
80% of oil right now we import. So when we have the mineral, why should we give it away to foreigners?
State-owned company for petroleum ngiyavumelana nayo kodwa kususwe lento ye-cadre deployment.
I support the state-owned petroleum company with a caution to remove a cadre deployment.
Bese kuthi ke iwari yami iba sekutheni, what if le inkampani lezi ekuphikisaneni kwethu nazo ezizobe zidila nalezi zokumbiwa kwa-oil no gas sezi-engage imiphakathi at the grassroots level, because i-poverty noma lento engathi ukulamba kwethu njengoba singenalutho, iy'nkampani lezi ziza kubantu at the grassroots level zifike zi-engage bona, and then sibona kuzoba nama-civil wars in future because the very same companies they are operate Africa, and siyazi ingxenye edlalwa yiFrance because le company majority of them are French. Ukuthi kwi-SADC ayithina ngathi asifunwa ngoba sasicolonized ama-Britain.
My only worry is that when we reject this bill, these foreign companies with oil and gas interests in our country, they might do what they've been doing up Africa, where they sponsor civil wars, where they come to the grassroots and influence our people to be on their side and to fight government. So that's my concern right now.
And okunye ukuthi young people must be in a forefront yokuze kumbiwa kwegas no oil.
Another point is that abantu abasha mabahambe phambili. They should be for young people should be at the forefront in this opportunity.
I submit.
Ngiyagcina lapho ngiyabonga.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Committee. My name is Jeff White. I'm a retired earth scientist.
Can you repeat your name, sir?
Jeff White.
Jeff White.
Jeff White.
Igama lami Jeff White ngingusosayento sethatha umhlalaphansi.
South Africa is a huge country. It has much mineral resources, but 40% plus are living in poverty.
South Africa njengezwe ibusisekile kakhulu inengcebo embiwa phansi enkulu kakhulu kodwa ngaphezulu ka 40% abantu baphila kububha obusabekayo.
Why?
Yini indaba na?
When South Africa has some of the largest and richest mineral resources in the world,
South Africa inomucebo omukhulu kabi okudlula amazwe amaningi emhlabeni.
why so much poverty?
Yini ububha bube kangaka?
One word, corruption.
Lilodwa nje igama elisenza sihluphene kanje ukhwabanisa.
I'd like to go into great depth here, but this is probably not the venue.
Bengingathanda ukuthi ngenabe lapho kodwa ke lo akusikona umhlangano walokho lokho.
But some facts from around the world.
Amaqiniso ke nje singawavuma akhona emhlabeni wonke.
This year, on the 3rd of February, Shell reported record profits of around about $40 billion.
Kulonyaka nge-3 zika February uShell uthe iprofit yabo ibibalelwa ko $40 billion.
115% on the year before.
Uzuze ngaphezulu ka 115% ukudlula unyaka odlule.
On the 8th of February of this year, BP reported record profits of 27.7 billion pounds.
BP ko nge-8 yena wabe reporter more than 27 billion wompondo.
Yeah, billion.
Yes, billion,
yeah.
27 billion pounds.
An all-time high. But now the people in England complain that there's no extra wealth tax.
Agaze babika inzuzo enkulu kangaka. Abantu leNgilande bayakhonona bathi hayi kufanele ngabe abantu abenza umcebo kakhulu bakhokha intela engaphezulu.
So you can see the extra money gained from these mineral resources don't benefit the poor, the normal people.
Sesiyabona ukuthi inzuzo enkulu eyenziwe lezi inkampani ayibasizi abantu nje abajwayelekile nabahluphekayo.
You can see that these large corporations are robbing the poor to pay the rich.
Siyabona ukuthi le imboni ezinkulu zigebenga abantu abampofu bese beyokhokhela onxiwa noma impunyela.
On the 1st of March this year, Glencore agreed to pay 13 billion rand in bribery case.
Kulonyaka uGlencore uvumile ukuthi uzokhokha 13 billion rands of dollars.
Billion rand.
13 billion wamarandi ukuhlawula amantshontsho ebebewakhokha.
Because they were paying bribes to officials in Brazil, Nigeria, DRC, and Venezuela.
Babe khipha amantshontsho leko Brazil ko DRC ko Venezuela bethenga imisebenzi.
But you see, this is a worldwide phenomenon.
Siyayibona ukuthi lenkinga yokukhwabanisa isisabalele imhlaba wonke.
Here we don't seem to recognize this.
Lana kodwa ngathi asiyiboni le ngwadla esibhekene nayo.
But it's here in South Africa in a big way as well.
Kunala ezweni lethu eSouth Africa ngendlela enkulu emangalisayo.
In South Africa, last year, around this time, the Minister of Mineral Affairs, etc., he complained that there were 47 legal bids to stop the ENI, the Italian multinational company, from exploration off the Durban coast.
South Africa ngonyaka odlule umphathiswa wezokumbiwa namandla wathi kunezicelo eziwu47 eziphikisa enye inkampani evele eItaly efuna ukuzosebenza la ogwini lolwandle lwethu.
But the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy lashed out at the environmentalists and for halting this development off the coast.
Uminister ke wakhwela wadilika kubantu abazama ukulwela imvelo ukuthi mayivikeleke imvelo kanye nolwandle.
In fact, he called it a special type of apartheid.
Empeleni wazwa kubiza wathi hayi ubandlululo lo olusezingeni eliphezulu.
I think respectfully that the minister needs to be educated in the wicked ways of this world.
Ngicela ngokukhulu inhlonipho kodwa ngibona ngathi umphathiswa wethu la kufanele afundiswe ngeindlela ezikhohlakele nezingcolile zala emhlabeni.
I'm sorry, but this bill gives the minister even more powers to destroy at his discretion this beautiful land.
Ngiyaxolisa kodwa ngibona ngathi lo mthetho sivivinyo unikeza amandla ngaphezulu ukuthi akaqhubeke ungqongqoshe abhubhise izwe lethu ngokuthanda kwakhe nje.
I'm going to mention something about the coal industry as well.
Ngizosho okuthile ngemboni yamalahle futhi.
In South Africa here, ARM, just their mining arm, and the coal section reported 1.4 billion rand profit, if you like, made by the coal industry.
La South Africa ke imboni yamalahle nezeyimayini yona ibike more than 1 billion wamarands njengenzuzo abayenzile.
With the current price of coal being so high,
Njengoba ilahle selibiza kangaka manje,
the export drive for this material to go overseas is huge.
babhizi banxanelwe njengamanje ukuthi leli lahle aliye phesheya.
And that's the reason why there's so many side load trucks, these big vehicles on the road.
Yingakho sibona lama truck amaningi manje asegcwele emgwaqeni.
They are driving around destroying the road system.
Bagcwele yonke imigwaqo baqeda balimaza imigwaqo yethu.
Having accidents and killing innocent people.
Kwenzeka ingozi kubulawa abantu abangenacala.
It's all about greed.
Lokhu nje kuphushwa ukunganeliseki.
This bill is a disaster.
Ngakho lo mthetho sivivinyo uyinhlekelele.
Its intention is to promote the raping of this country of its mineral resources.
Inhloso yayo ukuthi ithuthukiswe okudlwengula kwezwe lethu liphucwa ingcebo yalo esemhlabathini.
It's not good for anyone other than the rich.
Awukho muhle kunoma imuphi umuntu ngaphandle kwabacebileyo.
At the cost of the poor of this country.
Abazozwela kakhulu nabazolahlekelwa kakhulu abampofu balelizwe.
This bill is to be rejected with total contempt.
Ngakho ke lo mthetho sivivinyo masiuchithe ngakho konke esinakho.
As it will lead to further poverty and hardship for the poor.
Ngoba lizoqhubeka wenze ubunzima nobumpofu kubantu abangenalutho.
Again, a case of robbing the poor to pay the rich.
Kanjalo futhi abantu abampofu baphucwe lokho abanakho kuyokhokhelwa abacebileyo.
Thank you very much.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
we are allowed to converse, but can we, you know, there are people like me, you may think you are whispering only to find out you are even talking to us to hear what we are not supposed to hear. So can we just lower our voice and be patient? The fact that you don't agree with the speaker on the mic is entitled to his or her views.
Sivumelekile ukuthi singaba ke nembono noma sihlebelane ke ezindlebeni kodwa ke singaphakamisi kakhulu kwamazwi njengoba ke ekade eqeda ukukhuluma ke la ngaphambili mawungavumelani nembono yakhe kulungile na uzolithola ke lakhe ithuba lokuthi ubeke eyakho ke imbono noma ke ungicabanga ukuthi asikuzwa la ngaphambili kodwa ke sinalo udlebe lokuthi mhlambe ke sizwe sicoshe kokunye ke okungenzeka ukuthi uyakusho.
Good morning, all.
Siyanibingelela nonke.
I am Civil Governor from Amkumas.
Civil Governor uphuma ke eMkhomas.
I am a community and environmental activist.
Ngilola ke lapha ke emphakathini ukunakekelwa ke imvelo.
I firmly, totally reject the bill because
Umndeni ke ngiphuma kuwona uyaphikisana ke usichitha ke ngesikahlela ke ngenyawo zombili ke isiphakamiso selomthethosivivinyo.
everything in the bill is for the government.
Yonke into ekulomthethosivivinyo ibhekelele ke hulumeni ke nje kuphela.
It just needs the minister's signature for a company to explore and exploit our seas.
Lomthethosivivinyo ke uyinto nje esidinga ukusayindwa uyena ke ungqongqoshe ukuze ke uqale ukusebenza.
Just last week, there was a major oil spill in the coast of Mozambique.
Yesonto nje ke lidlulile sizwile ukuthi kube khona ke nokuqhuma kwawo ke woyela lapha ke ogwini lasezwenikazi laseMozambique.
With the fire burning in the sea.
Phinde kwaba khona kumlilo otholakala sewuvutha khona ke phakathi olwandle.
What's going to happen to the fish and the mammals?
Yini ke zokwenzeka einhlanzini eziphila ke kuleyo manzi kuleyo ndawo?
I'm a subsistence fisherman and I fish to put food on the table.
Abadobi bayithola besenkingeni ke enkulu ngoba bagcina sebengasakwazi phela ukubeka ukudla ke etafuleni.
The bill says 10% goes to the blacks, but how is this going to help me?
Umthethosivivinyo usitshela ukuthi ke ama% ke ayilishumi ke kuphela azozwa ebantwini ke abansundu. Lokhu kuzawusilekelela kanjani ke thina?
If there is oil spill in our seas, the fish is going to disappear.
Uma kwenzeka lo oil uchithekela ke olwandle lokho kungadala ukuthi ke izinhlanzi zethu ke zingaphinde zibe khona ke kuleyo manzi.
Also, the seismic survey is going to affect the fish.
Kuyophinde ke futhi kuphazamise kakhulu inhlalonhle yazo ke izinhlanzi nokwehla ke nje kwamanzi ke alo ulwandle.
Thank you.
Siyabonga.
Mr. Governor, you are such a good example and I'm sure they will follow you.
Sibonga kakhulu ke kumnumzane uGovernor usibonelo ke sihle sithemba abaningi bazolandela ke esinyathelweni ke zakho siyabonga.
Ngiyabingelela sihlalo nekomiti lakho lonke.
I'm greeting the portfolio committee before us.
Igama lami nguLondi Hlela.
My name is Londi Hlela.
Inkampani yami Noah Petroleum yohwebo.
My company is Lower Petroleum and
Sinama office eDubai nala eSouth Africa.
we do have offices located in Dubai and also here in the Republic of South Africa.
Sezinye izinkampani zokuqala zabamnyama ezanikwa ama license okuhweba ukuthi athenge oil ngaphandle import permits.
We are also one of those companies who were issued with licenses to render the services outside the country.
Uma ngizomthatha uhlale ngibuyisele emuva uThabo Mbeki saso umongameli wezwe waphakamisa iCommission ekuthiwa iMorane Commission.
If I will take our chairperson down memory lane, you will remember that Thabo Mbeki in his proposals has made an amendment.
After kutholakala ekuthiwa kunengwadla enkulu okuntuleka kwamafutha yakhumbula ukuthi izwe laseBotswana futhi lakhahlamazeka nathi kwatholakala ukuthi uma sekwenzeka uma iSouth Africa intula amafutha ngoba sithembele amazweni angaphandle sizoba sizolahlekelwa kwezomnotho kwakulingasela ngalosikhathi ukuthi u925 million ngosuku.
That was due to the fact that we've been found wanting in terms of producing oil at that particular period. Countries like Botswana had encountered such problems, so they were foreseeing issues that in South Africa we may encounter same. So they were preparing for the future to say that we must give these companies a right so that in future we'll benefit out of what they will be doing in this country.
Switch on now. So To put in perspective, Chair, is some of us who are SGA companies who have been in existence for 12 years, we are aware that there is a liquid fuel charter which was passed by Parliament almost more than 20 years ago.
Masizoyibeka nje ngokucacile njengabantu asebekhona ke embonini eminyaka ebalelwe eminyakeni ke 12 sizosho nje ukuthi ke sinalo kulwazi ukuthi kunomthetho ke okanye ke isiphakamiso esenziwe eminyakeni ke edlulile ke engemingaki.
But legally has been achieved. The petroleum sector is the less transformed sector in this country.
Akukho okuningi osekwenziwe ke singathi kuyimpumelelo kuncane kakhulu ke uguquko osingathi ke luhlo selenzekile kuona ke lo mthetho.
Besides our efforts, some of us who have been in the game for so many years, but we find very difficult to break through.
Aphandle ke kwethu abantu sebesebenzile ke kule mboni isikhathi ke sithe kuba side kodwa ke nathi sikuthole kunzima ukuthi ke sibe ingxenye yawo lo msebenzi.
10 years ago, we were among the first black-owned companies who used to supply Eskom at Ankelech.
Eminyakeni ke elishumi ke edlulile singabanye babantu bekade besebenza ukuletha ke lo msebenzi oluluhlobo lapha yaphezulu eNFL.
We work closely with Sasol, Chevron, then which is now Upstream, to supply Eskom.
Sisebenzisana ke nawo sasola ukuthi sisebenzise ke amandla kanye umsebenzi wethu ukuthi sinikezele ke ngazo lezi zinsiza enkampanini ke yakwa Eskom.
I think the chair might be aware that there is difficult for HDSA companies who have access to storage facilities all over South Africa.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi ke usihlalo unolwazi oluphelele ukuthi kunzima sohlanganisweni lwelezi inkampani ke zethu kube zibe nendlela yokungenelela ukuthi zikwazi ukuhambisa ke noma ke zigcine wona kumsebenzi kuloka woyela ke la ezwenikazi leSeningizimu Afrika.
5 years ago, Transnet board decided to facilitate the entry of black-owned companies to have access to the port. They have a place called Ambrose Park. I think maybe you're aware of the place, which is here in Durban.
Iminyakeni ke emihlanu ke edlulile sasuluye wenza isiqiniseko sokuthi ke bathola ke indlela yokungena basebenze ke la maphakathi ke ezwenikazi leSeningizimu Afrika kuyindawo ke eyakhelwe ke la eThekwini. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi sihlalo kungenzeka ukuthi ke indawo ke akayazi kahle ke leyo.
The petroleum sector in South Africa is dominated by multinationals, which are foreign-owned.
Le mboni ke kawoyela ke la ezwenikazi iphethwe ke lezi inkampani ke zangaphandle kuzona ke futhi zikwazi ukuthi zingenelele nemininingwane yazo ke kulolu hlobo lokusebenza.
We approached Transnet with a business case in anticipation that all the refineries in South Africa, since most of them are old, will shut down.
Sizamile ukukhulumisana ke nenkampani kanye ke imboni yakwa Transnet ukuze ke sibonisane ukuthi ke yipi indlela nayo singawazi ukuthi sifinyelela ngazivumelwaneni kodwa ke lokho akubanga ke nesiphumela noma nesithelo ke ezinhle.
Then we signed the lease to develop the storage facility because, as I've mentioned earlier on, that the Morane Commission, in its own findings, found out that South Africa is a net importer of fuel.
Sibe sisayenda ke isivumelwano sokuthi kube khona ke isikhathi esizobulekana ke sona ke le ndawo yokusebenzela ngoba sibonile ukuthi iNingizimu Afrika ke ayinalo kuhlelo oluqondile lokwazi ukwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi lolu hlelo luhamba ngendlela efanelekile.
So we got the necessary permits, like the construction licenses from NERSA, EIA, and so forth. In our surprise, when there was a change in leadership in 2018, our project was subject to forensic investigation, but nothing could not be found.
Siyayithola ke imvume ka 2018 kodwa ke ngebhadi akuhambanga ngendlela esasifisa ke ngayo ngoba siyayithola ke sesiphenywa noma ke kungekho okungesingathi ke kutholakele kulelo phenyo okwabe kwa etafuleni ukuthi ke kuzosetshenziswa.
Instead of Transnet working with us, they are hostile towards us.
Kodwa ke ukuthi ke kunokuthi ke imboni yakwa Transnet isebenzisana ke nathi abasiphathi ke kahle neze.
The project here is supported by the KZN government, even the Thekwini municipality. They even included under catalytic program to fast track it, since it will create more than 1,500 jobs, and then post-construction 1,000. And in terms of revenue, fiscals and so forth, 528 million will be raised through the project.
Umsebenzi ke losuthola uxhaso kakhulu uhulumeni nasukuthi awuxhaswa ke labo esilindele siba uxhase ngasesihlangothini zabantu ke abawuqonda kangcono kulomsebenzi. Abantu ke bangathola ke amathuba omsebenzi alengathola ngaphezulu kuka 500,000 kulabo abangasebenzi abangathola ke amathuba kulomsebenzi bayithola ke sebesebenza ke kuyo lemboni.
The capex for the project is 4 billion. We have already raised money to kickstart the project, but Transnet is frustrating us.
Khona ke imali elingisola kuona ko 5 billion eseyibekele ke ebucaleni ukuthi ikwazi ukulekelela ukwenza ke lo msebenzi. Kodwa ke imboni yakwe Transnet ayisebenzisani kahle nathi.
We are very unhappy because we anticipate that the legally or left all measures will leave South Africa, BP and Shell.
Asijabulile ke inhlobo ngendlela ke ekusetshenzwa ke ngayo ngoba bese nethemba lokuthi ke izinkampani ezinjengo Shell no BP zizawuphuma ke eNingizimu Afrika.
What will happen, because we've seen engineers already left, it's just sold it to Vitol, which is a trading house like ours.
Yini ke ezokwenzeka ngoba sesibonile ukuthi ke engine sowuphumile vele utayisiwe.
So I'm appealing to the chair. I've written to the chair. In fact, I didn't know he was coming. I only heard that he was here and said, okay, I'll try and find my way here to say, please intervene because there's a potential risk of fuel supply.
Sizocela ke ukuthi ke usihlalo ke ngaphambili sibhalile sambhalela ke bese ngenaso isiqiniseko ukuthi uzoba khona ke lapha mkwesuke namhlanje kodwa sithi nje siyacela sihlalo ubhekisise ke isicelo sethu ukuthi ke sizokwazi na ukuthi ke singenise inzuzo.
Because as you are aware, the petroleum sector contributes 360 billion per annum.
Njengoba ke unalo kulwazi ukuthi ke ulemboni ke noma lo msebenzi ungaletha ke imali elinganiselwa ku 360 billion njalo.
And then 30% to the national GDP.
Bese kuba ke ama percent alinganiselwa ku 30 kuyona ke
And then
GDP.
we are the first black-owned company which has issued with a construction license after 29 years since this country got independence.
Si inkampani ke yokuqala nqa eyathola ke imvume okanye ke license yokusebenza eminyakeni ke u29 ukusebenza ke kulona ke izwekazi leseningizimu Afrika.
Instead of being supported, but we are subjected into hostile attitude by the very same own state enterprise.
Ukuthi ke sithole ke imvume noma ke ukwamukelwa ngendlela elindelekile kodwa ke sithola ukucindezelwa ke okukhulu ukusiphatha kabi usilokucindezelo ke kwenziwa ezinye ke izinkampani ke singaphansi kwakhe uhulumeni.
We have been everywhere, public protector, national speaker of parliament to raise our case, but into no avail.
Sesambe ke izindawo eziningi sizama ukuthi ke siyocela usizo kubalwa phakathi ke umnyango umvikeli womphakathi kodwa kaselithole ke usizo.
My question is why Transnet is refusing to embrace such huge investment despite the fact that our country is facing economic crisis.
Umbuzo ke ngasohlangothini lwami uthi ke kungani imboni yakwa Transnet inqaba ukuthi ke nayo ibe ingxenye yalomsebenzi ngoba phela iyaqonda ukuthi ke izwe lethu lesenkingeni enkulu ke esikhathini samanje.
Please check your inbox, Chair, because our worry is very soon the likelihood of our country, South Africa, to face the shortages of fuel is imminent.
Sizocela ke sihlalo phambili kuba ubhekisise kahle lapho ke ezinkundleni zakho zokuxhumana ngoba ke sinenkinga yokuthi ke la ezwenikazi lethu ke singase sizithole ke inkinga yethu ingasalapheki ke esikhathini ke sizayo uma ngabe singayilungisi kusemanje.
I thank you. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
No, Babishela, you said you wrote to me, it's fine. There is a lady there called Ayanda Boss. You can just interact with her. I didn't want to stop you because I might frustrate you more than your frustration you have. But don't borrow the same. Please, those ones that are coming, don't borrow the same. Next. Bam.
Sizocela ulandelayo ke esengaphambili.
Zoyehlisa impela ngoba ngumuthi. Ngiyabonga. Sanibonani.
Greetings to everyone.
Ngiyanibingelela lonke umphakathi waseThekwini. Ngiyanibingelela nani bantu baseParliament.
I'm greeting all of you.
Vumani phela. Manibingelele. Vumani. Ngiyanibingelela.
I'm greeting members of the
Sanibona bantu
portfolio committee.
baseParliament. Ngiyajabula ukunibona.
I'm happy to see you
Jwayele
all.
ukunibona ku TV. Nawe nje baba uZet Luzipo ngangijwayele ukuza okhosini usakhulumela abasebenzi beSATU.
I'm happy to see the portfolio committee
Ngiyabona
before me
namhlanje.
today.
Sawubona mama wengube bomvu.
I extend my greeting
Jabula
to the
ukubona.
woman in red. Thank you.
Igama lami ngingumhlaladuma iZulu.
My name is
Ngingowaka
Mshala.
Shabalala isibongo. Igama labelungu ngingulakhi.
My surname is Shabalala.
Ngibuya
My
lena
English
ke
name is
emzini
Lucky.
waseNewcastle eDanaus.
I'm coming from a place called
La
Danaus.
kukhona khona lonke uhlobo lwemayini ongalicabanga. Akungiphathi kahle ukuthi sizothola ngomhlangano obaleke kangaka siuthole ko Facebook. Singazange satshelwa ukuthi iParliament liyeza kwaZulu Natal lifuna ukukhuluma nathi ngale bill. Sithole ko Facebook. Lento ke seyijwayelekile ukuthi njalo iParliament emaliza thina esibuya ngale zansi eNewcastle la khona zonke lezi imboni la nibeke khona ningasitsheli. Asazi ke
sit
noma
well
ke
with me.
asesiba base South Africa yini thina.
It doesn't sit well with me, Chairperson, the fact that we are not informed on time when it comes to meeting of this nature. We only find out about them on Facebook, which is a social media that does not sit well with us. We are citizens of this country. However, we want to be told properly in proper platforms as to when these meetings are taking place, because we are concerned citizens of this country.
Yebo njengoba size lapha nje sikhokhele itekisi sikhokhe 9,000 imali yethu ukuza la.
We are here, we booked a taxi to come here that cost at least about 9,000 just to be present in this meeting.
Ngoba vele siyazi ukuthi ngeke nize Newcastle.
Because we are aware that the portfolio committee is not going to come to Newcastle.
Lungileke.
It's all right.
Asikhulume nani ke.
We may speak.
Sifuna ukukhuluma ngale bill kodwa manje ngeke sikhulume ngento esingayazi esingazange sezwa ngayo esingazange satshelwa ngayo asazi ukuthi ke nani publishe kuphi ukuthi thina siyibone ngoba ama office wenu alapha eThekwini nalabantu beni balapha eThekwini uma sibabiza abafuna ukuza original manager bena ngaseni bashintshe kangaki cishe senishintshe about 4 ama regional manager manje khona ofikile ngiyabona wale ko Ramaphosa bathi uRavogoni naye kade simbiza lo nsundeni Ravagoni ukuthi woza wena sizokhuluma nawe akafuni ukuza kuzokhuluma nathi iyasibulala lento yenu yokuba nama officer kude kangaka.
We'd like to make our contributions, to register our contributions to this particular bill. However, we are finding it difficult to do, Chairperson, simply because the offices are located too far from where we live as the residences. And the change in terms of officials is also concerning because when officials are changed or rotated, we are not being informed of those. We just found out recently that there is a new official. However, we met the person on the go. So it's concerning that when officials are being rotated, we should be informed as members of the public.
Okay. Kodwa make sisho nje ngokungananazi ukuthi ngeke siyivume lento enize ngayo le bill le ngeke siyivume siyayichitha.
We are going to register it without fear of contradiction. That we stand to reject this bill. We're not going to allow it.
Sifuna ukuchaza ke siyazi ukuthi lento yokumbiwa kwa oil no gas into kaMama loya wayebizwa ukuthi uEdna Molewa bekanye nomhlonishwa umsholozi bephusha into yabo yakuthiwa iOperation Phakisa asazi kuphakiswa kiwa kuphi.
We are aware that this bill was proposed, or a bill of this nature was proposed on the previous years by 2 officials by the name of Molewa and Mr. Msholozi. However, we don't know what was the intention behind it doing so, even if it was not written the same way as it is now by Operation Pakisa. However, we don't know what was the reason for them to do that.
Siphinde sichaze ukuthi umsebenzi ka DMR siyawazi ukuthi ukuregulator imining ukuthi akube khona imining ngeke kwenzeke uDMR wakho baba Luzipo uphikisane nokuthi kube khona imining noma ngabe thina singayifuni kodwa ngeke kwenzeke ukuthi umnyango wakho uphikisane nokuthi ingabi khona noma singabeka izathu ezibambekayo ezinkulu kangakanani kodwa umnyango wakho ngeke uzithathe ngoba ninomsebenzi wokuthi nina ni promote ukuthi akube khona imining anina ndaba ukuthi sithini.
We are also aware that the DMI stands to regulate in terms of how mining is supposed to operate. So it is unlikely from the part of the chairperson and the portfolio committee itself that they will oppose or rather take our views if we say we stand to oppose this particular bill, because we know that you are interested in terms of the outcomes of this bill, as your role is to regulate but not to take our views as you stand to benefit from this.
Ukuthi ngizose ngisho lesikhathi anginike sona kungcono ungangitolikeli vele ngishaye nje ngomageba ngiqede ngenxa ngoba isikhathi uzosuka angihlalise phansi ngesikhathi utolika manje ngcono vele ngishaye konke. Ngivele ngishaye ngomageba manje yabona ke bantu baseParliament leminyango yenu yonke iyasidida manje ngoba kunokuxabana okukhona kule minyango yenu njoba siqale ngowakho uDMR umnyango weeconomic wona owokuthuthukisa umnotho kodwa umnotho mabekhuluma ngomnotho wasolwandle bakhuluma ngomnotho ozosiza uShell yena yedwa inkampani yaphesheya abakhulumi ngomnotho ozosiza abantu nje abafana nami njengomhlaladumo noma abantu laba abala eThekwini abaphila ngokudoba lapha yana olwandle abancishwa ngisho ama license labo bantu bona bashiwe ngaphandle kukhulunywa ngoShell isikhondla khondla ukuthi uShell uye oqhamuka azothuthukisa umnotho kodwa siyamangala ukuthi umuntu waphesheya angawuthuthukisa yena umnotho wakwelinye izwe okungelona lakhe noma uzothatha lokho aye nako phesheya umnyango wezomhlaba
The manner in which
Ngiyaxolisa
Ngiyakuzwa mina. Ngithi ngicela bakhombise esinye iskill abanaso. Babhale phansi. Maqedwe ulathi umshengu base beyatolika ke ngesingisi.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay ngiyabonga manje ke njengoba ngeke ngasho ekuqaleni ukuthi ke le bill thina
No, it's simple. He's gonna say it in Zulu and then the interpreters when it's done will do the English interpretation. Sorry for not doing that.
ngoba bese ngikhulume ngomnyango wezomhlaba ngasho ukuthi futhi thina le bill siyayichitha thina omkhulu bethu baphucwa umhlaba amabhunu manje umnyango wezomhlaba lo kaThokodidisa siloku salinda ukuthi basibuyisele umhlaba wethu abawubuyisi lokhu safaka ama application ngokwe Labor Tenant Act abasibuyiseli umhlaba wethu kuwo wona lo mhlaba lo nina senifaka abantu ngalo muntu esingamazi ukuthiwa uphasa lo phasa lo okungukuthi ushuthi uphasa lo so ungaphezulu kwenu nonke ngoba nguye ofaka labantu be-oil and gas manje ubafaka nala sifake khona ama-claim ukuthi sibuyele umhlaba wethu nala kudla khona iy'nkomo zethu nala siphuza khona amanzi asemfuleni ngoba phela amakhansela awasinikeza amanzi siphuza amanzi wasemfuleni kodwa lo phasa ufuna ukufaka ukuthi kumbiwe u-oil no-gas ngalento le abayibiza ngokuthi yi-fracking umhlaba wethu ungakabuyi manje ke njengoba ngisho ukuthi siyayiphikisa lento siyiphikisa ngokuthi uma ivumeleka ukuthi ibe khona akukho la sithola khona ukuthi kena thina njengabantu basemakhaya sizosizakala kanjani la kuzobe kwenzeka khona lento ngoba lapha kwiDrakensberg yila kuyongena khona ikhampani ekuthiwa uRhino Oil and Gas kungene khona ikhampani ekuthiwa uSungusungu kuphinde manje kukhona ikhampani ekuthiwa uSLR le khampani le ihambe yayo consult abantu base Free State kodwa ke izo testa ukuthi uoil ukhona yini itesta up itesta eKZN eNewcastle uma sifika kuyona sikhuluma nayo ukuthi kena ubani okunikeza igunya lokuthi wenze lento oyenza ngoba so uyadrill basikhombisa incwadi yakaphasa masifunda lencwadi yakaphasa ithi baconsultiwe abantu kodwa masithi siyabheka obani laba baconsultiwe abantu bakwenye province la kungenzeki khona le drilling so ingakho sithi iminyango yenu iyaclasha nje kaningi ngoba bane environmental authorization labantu abayinikezwe umnyango wezemvelo kodwa kungakhulunywanga nathi futhi into esiyiphikisayo nokuthi kena uoil ukhishwe olwandle phela ulwandle siyalithanda sonke siyathanda ukusuka eNewcastle sizobhukuda olwandle ngoba lukho ngakithi sibuka imkhumbi ingene iphuma siyathanda kodwa mase nithi nifuna ukukhipha uoil olwandle sibuza umbuzo owodwa ukuthi lezi lwanyana ezilapha olwandle phansi ekujuleni kolwandle zizophila kanjani zizophila ngani ngoba siyazi ukuthi laba uma betesta baphatha izinto ezingamabhomu lemkhumbi yabo inamabhomu adubulayo ngalesikhathi kuqhuma njengasemayini kuqhuma iblasting emayini makuqhuma iblasting izindlu zabantu ziyacrack nasolwandle ngeke kwenzeke ukuthi iblasting mayenzeka noma nibiza yini mayenzeka lento yini zingafi lezilwane ezilaphayana olwandle noma zingaphazamiseki ngoba ezinye zazo uma kufanele ukuthi ziyohlangana ukuze kube khona ezinye zandisane zezalana ziyacommunicate ngendlela yazo zibange umsindo ukuthi kena sizohlangana ndawana thizeni manje mase kuqhuma seziyabaleka so uthe sesiphelele isikhathi sami lungileke baba kodwa into esishoyo yileyo ukuthi ke siyaphikisana nalento le bill ngoba azange nikhulume nathi mhlambe niyoba nesikhathi ukuthi nibuyele eParliament sikwazi ukuthi kena sixoxeni ngoba lento eniza ngayo yokumbiwa kwaoil no gas izokwenzeka la sihlala khona yebo intuthuko siyayifuna kodwa sifuna intuthuko eshiya thina ngaphandle izokwenziwa abantu baphesheya bakwamanye amazwe esingabazi abangakhulumi ngisho ilanguage mhlawumbe bakhuluma isiGreek into esingayazi siyabonga
Mshengu ngiyake Mshengu kona kungesonto share ama details wakho there ula sisu ayanda but don't leave we must meet with you just after this session.
Thank you, Chairperson. We have two conflicting matters. Only two conflicting matters we'd like to begin with. The first one is the conflict between two parties, that being the office of the MDR itself, and then the multinational company called Shell. Because we don't understand, our understanding is not clear in terms of what are the dealings, how are they communicating amongst themselves, and the communication is not clear when it comes to us as the public members as to how Shell is operating and what are the agreements is Shell having with MDR itself. And we are having a difficulty in terms of the communication that is supposed to be extended to us as community members of Newcastle. It is very unclear to us as to what does this body called PASA in terms of the powers they have. Because it seems like they are the ones now who are negotiating. It seems like they are the ones who are regulating everything. It seems like they are the ones who are given powers now to officiate things that should be initiated by the portfolio committee or the Department of the Minerals themselves. They're not doing that. So we don't understand in terms of this body called PASA. It should really be clear of their involvement with this particular bill as to are they stand to benefit anything or not. Also in Newcastle, there are two companies that have been found to be working in that particular place by the name of Rhino Horn. And now these guys, they were found to be working there. We're not aware where they got their licenses from. We're not aware as to whether the authorities who gave them permission to work there, who they are. However, we found that they are already in operation that side. Now, if we go to converse and ask questions as to who gave them permission to work on that side, we're not getting that. However, the offices are far if we have to maneuver all the way from Newcastle to Durban. We're not finding joy in that regard as well because we want to be involved as members of the community. Now, the last part will be the parts of the environment. The ecosystem in our oceans is going to be destabilized because these multinational companies, when they come to our shores, they bring equipment, they use what is called dynamites, and when they drop those particular dynamites in our oceans, in our seas, they destabilize the ecosystems. Our fisheries are destabilized. Now, the behavior of the fisheries, it becomes problematic because now we know that there are those who benefit from doing fishes in our seas and in our shores. Now, those people are affected if they can't run the coastlines economy appropriately as it's supposed to be done. Now, we are pleading that if those things are not going to be checked properly and we're not going to be given clarity as to how the portfolio committee or the department itself is going to maneuver along those lines, then we are saying this bill should be rejected. I thank you.
I
will extend my greetings to the chairperson and the portfolio committee before us.
Besingajabula uma lo mthetho oshaywayo umuntu ompisholo enga participator kwi-value chain yonke kawoyela.
It will be appreciated from our part if this bill, or rather the proposed bill itself, will give us as black people a chance, or rather a leeway, to be able to participate fully in the value chain of this particular bill.
Singehlelwa esahlelwa yikho egolideni elimbiwa lapha liyohluswa phesheya.
Because we don't find ourselves being subjected to the very same exploitation that had happened previously, where we found that gold that is being extracted in our country is being processed abroad.
Bese libuya selibiza kakhulu.
And when it returns to this country, we find it's very expensive.
Siyakuthokozela futhi ukuthi kube naleli gama elithi contact wi percentage thina esongena kuyo kuoyela ngisho ngabe u10 noma number bani kodwa kube thina ndisikhona ukuthi nami sinama percent.
We'll also appreciate if there's a particular percentage that is going to be allocated specifically to us as black people, just to say that in whatever dealings that are going to be happening, but we do have a percentage specifically attached to us.
Sikuthokozele futhi ukuthi kuqanjwe uma kungaqanjwa inkampani entsha ngoba zonke lezi ezinye zaqanjwa before 1994 zonakele.
Would also appreciate it if a new company were to be established, because we do realize, and it's our understanding, that all those companies that were established before the year of 1994 are now in a state of collapse.
Ngoba sasingekho lezi company okuthiwa ama state owned companies zakhiwa asikaze sibe naleli gama elishona namhla ethiwa i-public hearing besingazazi thina lezi zinto. Siyabonga ukuthi sizoba ingxenye yaleyo nkampani.
We were unfortunate during the previous years because public hearings were not held like it's being done now, in terms of involving us as public members to be able to make our contributions. However, we would like to extend our thankful greatness to the portfolio committee to afford us an opportunity to come and register our contributions.
Okunye ngikuzwile ukuhlukanisa umnyango lo wezongbiwa kwahoyela uhlukanise kulokho okukhona njengamanje. Lokho kuyokwenza ukuthi kube lula. Uyabona inkinga amaziziningi akufaneke ucabanga ukuthi uzolungisa inkinga eziningi ebhodweni elilodwa. Uyabona nje manje ma kuthiwa kuzohlukana sibhekane newoyela siyabona ukuthi soqondana newoyela ngqo. Mangifuna ukuceba nje kuwoyela ngizovela ngiqondane nokuceba kuwoyela.
We also appreciate the fact that it is highlighted in this particular bill that there's going to be a proposed separation when it comes to the mineral department, and also this new proposed state entity that is going to specifically deal with the oil and gas extraction, so that will give us a proper understanding and a leeway in terms of we want to channel ourselves specifically to the oil extraction. We'll be able to do that without interfering with the minerals.
Ngiyabonga.
I thank you.
Sorry, you didn't give us your name. Aibo. You didn't give us your name.
Awusinikeza ngamagama akho baba.
Igama lami Thula Mkhwanazi ka Ward 84 eMlazi.
My name is Thula Mkhwanazi. I'm coming from Ward 84 at Umlazi.
You reject the bill.
Ibill ngiyisupporta kakhulu.
I support the bill, Chairperson.
Can I speak? Good day to all.
Closer.
Good day to one and all in this place.
Shall we have some order to
I am-
listen to the next speaker?
I am Leila Abrahams from KZN Subsistence Fishing Forum.
Sibingelele nonke igama lami nguLela Abrahams ngiphuma ke enhlanganweni yazabadobi.
This bill, is this a government project or is it a foreign country who is what reject of going to come in?
Ngabe kumsebenzi ke lo ozophathwa ke izandla zikahulumeni waseNingizimu Afrika na noma ngabe kumsebenzi kozolethwa ilawa aphuma ke emazweni ke angaphandle esingavumelani ke nawo.
How many jobs will be created for our people?
Sifuna ukwazi ukuthi ke mingakanani imisebenzi ezokwenziwa la ezoqondana ke ngqo nabantu ke bakithi.
The impartation, what about the atmosphere? What about the marine life?
Sifuna ukwazi ukuthi ke ukuphazamiseka kwesilwanyana ke ezihlala kulezi ndawo kuzoba ke ngakanani kuphinde futhi kube izilwane ke ehlala phakathi kolwandle zona ke zizonakekela ke kanjani.
Is that going to be destroyed because of few jobs?
Ngabe ke konke lokho kuzowudicileka phansi ke na ngenxa nje ke yemisebenzi embalwa.
And the bulk of money which goes to a few until leaves and a dead seabed.
Ngemali ke esaziyo ukuthi ke izoya ebantwini ke abambalwa hayi bonke abantu.
What about the marine life? Will become extinct like the dinosaurs?
Yilwane ke zethu ke eziphila ke olwandle kuzokwenzakalani ngengazo ke na ngabe ke zizophela yini njengoba kwaphela ke izolwane ke zakudala ezazazwa ukuthi ke ama dinosaur.
For the greed of money, not worth it.
Ngenxa nje ukuthi ke mhlawumbe ke sinenhliziyo ke engaphandle yokuthola ke imali ke futhi ngeke isilekelele ukubuyiswa ke lezo yilwane eziyobe sezilimele.
We reject this bill. What is going to happen to thousands of fishermen who live off the ocean? How are they going to survive?
Sithi ke cha lo mthetho ke ophakanyiswayo siyawuphikisa sivumelani ke nawo Nhlobo ngoba sazi bakuzokwenzakalani kulabo ke abasiphilisa ngokudoba ukuthi bazophila kanjani uma kwenzeka umsebenzi thola bengasakwazi ukuqhubeka nokwenza umsebenzi wokudoba.
What about our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren? They wouldn't even know what a species of fish is going to be. They don't even know what a dolphin going to be looking like.
Kuzokwenzakalani ngeingane ke zethu ke ezisakhula nalezo ke ezingakazalwa ngoba ke ziyobe sesingasazi ke Nhlobo ukuthi ke izinhlanzi kwakuyinto ke ebukeka kanjani noma ke lezo ke zaziwa ukuthi ke amadolphin kwakuyinto ke enjani ke yona leyo ngoba ke ziyobe zingasekho.
Thank you very much.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
Ngibingelele kuhlalo ngaphambili nethimba lakhe.
Let's send my greetings to the chairperson in front of us and the whole committee.
Ngibingelele umphakathi ogcwele ihholo.
And I will greet the community inside the hall.
Igama lami nguZamokuhle Sibongo kaManqele.
My name is Zamokuhle Manqele,
Ngiqhamuka eNew Germany ku Ward 21
coming from New Germany, Ward 21
khona la eThekwini.
in Durban.
Mina disappointed ngale bill. Akukhombisi ukuthi uminister osuka kule department impela uyikomanisi. Indlela ibill ebazibe ngayo abantu.
I am disappointed about the bill, Chairperson, because it doesn't show that the person aligned with this bill is a communist, the manner in which it ignores the interest of the public.
Ngikushiswa yilokhu ngoba first of all u10% mncane ukuthi
saying this-
unganika abantu baseningizimu Afrika abamnyama iminimum ewu10% kuyinto embiwa emhlabeni wabo.
I am saying this, Chairperson, because I feel that 10% is too far, too little when it comes to it being offered to those who are indigenous people of this country with minerals that are going to be extracted on the land of their own.
Bengizozwa if sithi minimum iqala ku 25%. Ngishiso yini lo 25% wale minimum we black participants. It's because awukhulumi ngecommunity ukhuluma ngeindividual. If ukhuluma ngeindividual okusho ukuthi uzamo angaya ka BP athi BP asambeni somba upetrol nini ku 25% wami basale ngaphandle abanye abantu and I become rich alone while others are suffering.
I'm registering my concern, Chairperson, simply because this bill doesn't seem to be speaking to everyone. Only a few or other individuals that seems to stand to benefit from or out of this bill. Because I can go alone individually as Zamo and make a deal, say with Shell or BP to say that this is my offering. If they give me say 20% out of what we're going to be agreeing on, then I will live with the 20%, a rich individual, but not as a community, meaning that those who will not be part of that agreement will remain poor.
As I support a black participation, which ngicela inyuswe ibeke ku 25% than 10%, but kunento ekumele si-add, a community participation through ama-co-ops. Because umphakathi okuyiwona osuke usurrounde lezi inkampani okwenzeka wonke lama projects kuzona, iwona okumele uzuze ngaphezu kwama-individual. Ngikushiso yini lokhu kungenzeka nguzamo ngihlalele Limpopo, ngihambe ngeNewcastle, ngifaka u10% wami kwimayini engakhona eNewcastle, baqhubeke bayilambela abantu baseNewcastle, but I benefit and inkampani izokutshela ukuthi yona ilandele yonke imigubho yebill.
My input will be that I feel that at least 30% participation of black people should be seen as a means and should be recommended, opposed to a 10% proposed by the bill. Because I feel that it's going to benefit individuals only and not to uplift the masses. However, if I'll make a practical example as Zamo, if I go to Newcastle and ask for an agreement with a multinational company there, and they offer me, say, at least 20% of what they will be extracting from that particular area, I will be rich, but as an individual, and masses will be left behind, still remain poor.
So ngiyacela ukuthi singawu remove lo 10% we black participation, siunyusa ubo 25%, mase si-add u15% minimum wama co-op, ama communities surrounding these companies ezobe zithola khona lama minerals.
So I will suggest that at least 25% must be given to black participants. And then an additional 15% should specifically be allocated for those who are running co-ops, so that at least they can also be uplifted.
Mase ngiyabuya ngiza kwi-Petroleum Development and Environmental Committee.
Then I will come back to Petroleum Development Committee.
Again, ngibuka leli committee lisazoba neyinkinga or lisazodala iyinkinga. Because if ngifunda la, leli committee, it's a national committee. While namanje having a problem yokuthi you go to national committees which are there dealing with such, they are busy or they are taking too long to respond to the people. So it's better to have ama committees that are established, either regionals or provincials, than to have one committee which is a national committee overseen by only a minister or national.
Sinenkinga ke futhi masibheka ikomiti ke leli kukhulunywa ngalo la ngoba siyabona ukuthi lisebenza kakhulu lapha ke kuzwelonke. Okwenza kube inkinga kakhulu ngasohlangothini lwabantu abasemazingeni ke aphansi ngoba bazithola benenkinga ukuthi abakwazi ukufinyelela ke lapha emazingeni aphezulu, bakhulumisane ke nezikhulu ukubeka ke izimfuno kwezabo. Lokho kwenza ukuthi ke labo bangasizakali. Sizocela ukuthi ke uma kwenziwa ke lezi inhlaka qinisekisa ukuthi ziyehliswa leso ke emazingeni aphansi kwizifundazwe kwizifunda la abantu behlala khona bezokwazi ukuthi mabe befisa ukuthola usizo bangene basizakale ngaphakathi.
Lokhu kuzosiza einkingeni eziningi esibhekena nazo ekubridgweni kwemthetho or kwebridgweni kwama processes of giving ama license kwi petroleum industry. Njengamanje we are having a problem South Coast where Shell want to ukudonsa oil olwandle. Umphakathi every time uhlezi ukhala ngento eyodwa awu consult. Kodwa njalo uShell unqena ukubuyisa ubatshela ukuthi no, a national committee isisivumelile yasigrant ukuthi thina sesingakwazi ukuqhubeka nomsebenzi. Okuyikho ngigqugquzela ukuthi siyacela ukuthi kube khona ama committee akuma regional phases or kuma provincial phases ukuze akwazi ukusebenza eduze nabantu. Ngalawo mazwi nami ngihamba kulo line othi I reject iproposal until kuze kube ibill evuna abantu baseningizimu Afrika. Ngoba kuyimanje uya kwi-supplying, uya engibiweni kwa oil, kusayinkampani zama multinationals okuyizona ezihamba phambili. Why sifuna futhi ukuyihambisa phambili noma sesizomba uoil endaweni yethu ezweni lethu?
It is concerning chairperson and portfolio members before us that we have a problem in this country, that consultation is a problem. When it comes to national committee, it is very difficult to reach them, as there are no committees that are established in regions. So we are pleading with the portfolio committee and the department that at least we have those committees established in our regions, closer to our people, closer to where people live in our communities, so that at least the communication can be nearer to those who need the information the most. We are saying this, Chairperson, because you will find that in some of the communities, when people come into contact with these particular multinational companies, there is a problem, because when this interaction happens, people are confused. And when they ask questions, they are told by those multinational companies that no, we have an agreement and we've been granted permission to continue to mine in this particular area. However, that particular information is not known by people of those particular residents. Now it leaves a gap that needs to be filled. That is why we're asking the portfolio committee to make recommendations for these committees to be established in our regions closer to our people. So I am going to say that I reject this bill simply because it does not speak to the masses. I reject it until further amendments are made for it to be at least in a position where I can say I support it. I thank you.
Ngiyabonga, ngiyabingelela ikomiti ngaphambili, ngibingelele umphakathi wonke waseThekwini. uNtombizeni Ngcobo lona from Ward 84 eMlazi.
My name is Ntombizeni Ngcobo from Ward 84 eMlazi. I thank the opportunity granted to me by the committee and also greet the committee and the community at large.
Okay. Ngizoqala nje ngawo lo 10% ukuthi ke asazi nathi noma nani nishilutha nazi bafike kanjani wona. Siyabantu abamnyama nje sisodwa eSouth Africa asiwenzi u10%, senza more than that. So udrafte le bill uthathe iphiloko usebenzise iphi formula, and again uma le bill izothi ene abantu abamnyama thina la eSouth Africa sazi ukuthi ke si diverse. What about others uma izofaka thina kuphela? So asenzini lokho kwakwenziwa abelungu uma beshaya imithetho beshayela bona bodwa beshiya ngaphandle thina. So nala ngikhala ngalokho kulo 10%, nanokuthi ke uma ke lo 10% unyuka awunyuke ngalendlela ukuthi ukwazi uku-accommodate abantu base South Africa as a whole, nanokuthi kuba ugovernment ozokwazi ukuthi ke abe phambili kungabi inkampani ngoba already siyazi ukuthi inkampani yaphesheya ezophatha la.
My first concern, Honorable Chairperson, will be the 10% that is proposed with this bill. It's not enough. And I'm also questioning the mindset and the logic behind the person who constructed this particular bill, because in no way can we agree that as black people in this country, we constitute 10%. I believe that we are more than 10% as black people in this country. So it does not make sense to me that only 10% is going to be allocated to black people. And also, we need to consider that as black people, we are diverse in this country. So our diversity should be taken into account as well, because when it also says or speaks to black people, it does not give us clear an indication as to say how is it going to be shared among these racial groupings. Are we not also doing what the apartheid government did if we are going to be sideline people according to racial groupings?
Okay. Okunye siyazi ukuthi ke si Africa or South Africa si third world country. So lama countries uma efika already asebonile ukuthi uoyela ungambiwa eSouth Africa. Bazowumba sacela ugovernment akwazi ukucontrol ukuthi sesiwumbile ke sicela uhluzwe yithina. Kuzoba namathuba futhi ke ukuthi thina ke singakwazanga ukuyofaka lapha yana embonini kulo 10% ozokwanda sikwazi ukusebenza. So ngalokho nje sacela ukuthi ugovernment kube uyena ozoba phambili kakhulu, singa underminewa inkampani zangaphandle ezweni lethu kumnotho wethu, zifike zisitshela ukuthi sine oil, ziphinde futhi zizingamele ngaphezulu kuzo lezo sitshela ukuthi zizokwenza njani, ngoba bazi ukuthi bona bayikhondla banemali banawo wonke ama resources thina asinawo.
It will be distasteful, Chairperson, if we are going to be told by multinational companies from Europe or any parts of the world that firstly, they've discovered that we have oil and gas in this country. And secondly, they want to tell us how much are they going to give us. And then thirdly, They want to tell us also that after these resources have been extracted in our country, they're going to take them abroad for processing. So what we want, Chairperson, is that we be given a right to process our own resources. Then after that, they can maybe leave with a material that has already been processed. However, if they are going to extract this material in our country and then take them for processing again, we think that will be unfair to us as citizens of this country. They will be exploiting us if they will be doing that, because they know very well that we don't have the powers to stand against that. So our proposal, or my suggestion, is that the government should be given powers to be able to say what needs to happen, to be able to say, to chart the way forward in terms of controlling how these multinational companies do their operations.
Ngiyabonga, ngokwami nje cha ngizoyiphikisa le bill up until ikwazi ukumitha thina abantu base South Africa. And again, last week besiyilana climate change ekhozwa yiwo futhi lezi inkampani lezi silwile kakhulu ngomonakalo abawenzayo, and namhlanje sithiwa sizophasisa ibill ezokhiqiza uoil eSouth Africa. Aren't we contradicting ourselves or niyas confuse nje? I don't know. Ngiyabonga.
From where I'm standing, Chairperson, I would like to register that I am standing to reject this bill. If you remember very well last week, at least about last week, we were here also debating the issue of climate change. And now that's also we wanted to reject it because it contributes to polluting our air and our environment. So today we're here, when we're now being asked about a bill about these mineral gas and oil extraction in our country. We believe that they are also responsible of ensuring that our environment is polluted. So if we are saying today we want to speak about this bill or give powers to make sure that this bill works, aren't we contradicting ourselves when we say climate change is a problem to our country? However, on the other hand, we are speaking of passing the bill that seeks to suggest that oil and gas should be made a law to be extracted in our country. So we reject the bill until such proper amendments are made. I thank you.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, members of Parliament.
Sibingelela usihlalo, siphinde sibingelele futhi ke namalungu eParliament.
And good morning, each and every one of you that are here.
Sibingelele kunina nonke nikhona ngaphakathi ke ehall.
So my name is Desmond Desa. I'm an environmentalist. I live in the shadow of the biggest chemical industry in South Durban.
Gama lami ngusteze Ndisa, ngiphuma ke lapha ke kwezobhekelelwa kwezemvelo. Ngihlala khona ke nami ke la eNingizimu Afrika futhi ngibhekene nazo ke inkinga esibhekene nawo wonke umuntu waseNingizimu Afrika.
So, you know, we left our churches, our mosques and our temples this morning because we see this bill as one of the most critical bills if it goes through. So we are here to put our views across about this bill and why we reject the bill completely.
Siyeke eziningi izinto ke ezenzayo njengoba kusuku lwesonto ke namhlanje ngabe sihambile semasontweni sihambile ke sayokhonza senza okuningi okuhlukahlukene kodwa ke sikhethe ukuza la osuku namhlanje ukuzokwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi ke sibeka imbono yethu nezathu ukuthi kungani simelene ke nokuphasiswa ke kwalomthetho sivivinyo.
And I think you've heard a lot about why people reject the bill completely, and so do I. Completely reject the bill, and I'll give you the reasons right now.
Yacabanga ukuthi ke senizwile ngaphambili ukuthi ke yiziphi ke izizathu ezenza ukuthi abantu baphikisane nokuphasiswa kwalomthetho sivivinyo. Nami ke ngime phambi kwenu nje ngizosho njalo ukuthi cha angihambisana lomthetho sivivinyo ke izizathu zalokho ngizobe senginikezela ke mangiqhubeka nenkulumo.
If we want to address climate change, then this bill should be scrapped.
Mangabe ke ungafisi ukuthi ube nokuguquka kwesimo sezulu ke esingesihle lo mthetho sivivinyo kudingakala ukuthi nje ususwe ungabe khona.
And we know too well in this province that people have died in this province. Over 500 people have been affected with the climate change, and many people have lost their homes, many people have lost their school books, many people have lost their uniforms because of climate change that has been caused by the petrochemical giants of Shell, BP, Sasol, and they are all over the world. Wherever they go, they destroy.
Siyazi ukuthi ke esifundazweni sikaZulu Natal sekubeke nesimo sokuguquguquka kwesimo sezulu ke esingalawuleki inhlobo esesibuleleke abantu abaningi ababalelwe ngaphezulu kuka 500 abantu ke labo impilo zabo ezithathwe izikhukhula ngenxa yakho ukuguquguquka kwesimo sezulu ngendlela ke engalawuleki okudalwa yizo lezi inkampani kubalwa phakathi kwazo ke uBP oShell nabo ke oEngine abahamba ke wonke amazwe kodwa mabefika kulowo mazwe bangena kona bafike nje bamoshe ke yonke into esuke kade ke ikhona.
This bill has been written in a way to try and fool the public to agree. But I'm glad that I'm here, and I'm glad to hear what people have said, because they have found out it's going to protect those very old, those very same oil corporations, Shell, BP, and all of them when they drill, so that if they invest, we cannot stop them from drilling in our ocean, because the government will be held responsible in international courts.
Siyajabula kakhulu ukuthi ke ngimela phambi kwenu namhlanje ngizwe zonke futhi ke izinto esikhulunyiwe oza kwethu abezela ngaphambili bafike babeka embono yabo okungijabulisayo ukuthi ke nabo baqonda kahle ukubaleka kokuphikisa lo mthethosivivinyo ngoba ke lo mthethosivivinyo ke uzosicindezela ayikho into enhle osizela nayo laba zinkampani ke ezinkulu okubalwa phasi kwazo ke uShell no BP ezikwenzayo nje ukuthi zona zifuna ke imali sizocela ukuthi uhulumeni ubambisane ke nathi ukwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi ke kuba wona uhulumeni olawula ukusebenza kwabantu ke bafana nezinkampani esengizibalile.
You were talking about oil corporations that are over 70 years old. Shell, BP, Engine, Sasol, all of them. 70 years, ask yourself, what have they done in this country? Because what we have seen, destruction and chaos and huge unemployment.
Sikhuluma ke la ngeinkampani esibala phakathi kokunye ke uShell, uSasol, uBP zibalelwa ke eminyakeni ke ewu70 ubudala zikhona nje isebenza. Kodwa ke kufanele siyibuze umbuzo lezi inkampani ke kiyo yonke leminyaka yini eziyenzele ke abantu ngoba yonke indawo la sihamba khona noma zonke indawo la isebenza khona zifike zone zenze ke omkhulu umonakalo.
If we don't, we are contradicting ourselves. If we don't address climate change, the very same corporations in other parts of the world are signing up so that they address climate change. Why are they coming to South Africa to drill for oil and gas, which is going to increase the climate?
Asikuqonde ke sikhuluma ngakho njengoba siningizimu Afrika uma ngabe sithi lo mthethosivivinyo sixoxisana ke ngawo ke ngokweqiniso ngoba ke iqiniso lithi ke lezi inkampani ke zangaphandle nazo ke futhi ziyaqonda ukubaleka lokulwisana nokuguquguquka kwesimo kwesezulu ke okungalawuleki. Yingani ke pho zifuna ukungena ezwenikazi laseningizimu Afrika ziphinde futhi ke zona zizoba uoil nayo ke igas okuzophinde futhi kudalele thina inkinga yokuthi isimo sezulu sethu sisithole ke sesingasalawuleki.
If they thought carefully about this bill, firstly, they would have considered that the sea level is rising. They would have considered that we have strong currents, and we know over the years how many ships have gone shipwrecked, whether it's in Richards Bay, where coal ships have cut in half, or whether it's in Durban, where ships and containers have sunk in the Durban harbor.
Uma ke becabangela ke abantu baseningizimu Afrika kakhulukazi labo abahlala ke ngasogwini fanele ngabe banolwazi olwanele ukuthi ke mningi umonakalo osewudalekile vele khona ke lapha ke ogwini sibala ke phasi kokunye ukulimala ke kwemkhumbi ethola ke impahla esebenza khona ke ogwini sibala phakathi kokunye ke indawo njengayo ke iRichards Bay okanye ke umasipala waseMhlathuze oyisolo ke usenkingeni ke nawo ukungcoliseka kwamanzi ke olwandle ukuphakama kwamanzi kolwandle ke okungalawuleki kanye ke nemimoya evunguza ke kulolugu nayo eseyinkinga ebantwini noma ke abahlali abahlala kulezo indawo.
Why do we need this bill when we already, you've said, Chair, that this bill will protect, it'll bring in the government will have a state oil corporation. But we have Mossel Bay, Moss Gas, that has run down and has lost a lot of money over the years, and it's got independent shareholders in it as well. So why do we need a bill to provide a company to protect that, a new company, when we have a company in South Africa?
Sinayo inkampani eningizimu Afrika lapha eyaziwa ngeMossel Bay. Inkampani ke leyo siyisebenze ke la eningizimu Afrika esikhathana ke eside. Kodwa ke nayo ayenzanga kahle ngoba siyazi ukuthi ke iningi imali balahlekele. Kuningi futhi ukungenzi kahle kube khona ngasohlanganisweni ke lwabo. Kodwa ke uhulumeni ufuna ukusitshela ukuthi kunenkampani entsha abafuna ukuthi bayakhe ezobhekana futhi ngqo nokumbiwa ke phansi eyesingake ke lenkampani isidingo sayo ke siyini ngoba vele sinayo inkampani ekwenzayo ke lokho engenzanga futhi ke kahle kufanele ngabe nayo iyabhekwa ngenxa ke yezinto ezingalawulekanga ngendlela befanele izilawuleke ngayo kuyona.
And we're fully aware that the oil industry and the drilling will not create jobs in their own documents of Sasol, of Eni, of Shell. This is a specialist work, specialist job, which we don't have the skills in South Africa. So maybe 7 or 8 people will be brought from overseas to operate those rigs. We don't have it here.
Okunye ke sekuqonda kahle kamhlophe njengabantu baseNingizimu Afrika ukuthi ke lemsebenzi noma ukwenziwa noma ukuphasiswa lomthetho sivivinyo akuyona ke into elethela ukusiza thina njengabantu baseNingizimu Afrika. Isizathu ukuthi ngisho njalo ukuthi ke asinawo phela thina amakhono okwenza lo msebenzi. Lokho ke kuchaza ukuthi vele kuzophinde kulandwe ke futhi abantu ngaphesheya kwezilwandle kuyibona ke abazoqondana ke ngqo nokwenziwa kolomsebenzi ngoba banamakhono ke anele nolwazi lokuthi lo msebenzi wenziwa kanjani. So uma ngabe kuthiwa lo msebenzi uzosiza ke thina ukuthi sithole amathuba omsebenzi lokho akulona neze iqiniso ngoba siyazi ukuthi njengoba singenawo amakhono nje kusho ukuthi ngeke sibe ingxenye yokwenziwa kolomsebenzi.
And if we want to talk about that the oil companies want to do something for the country, well, since 1994, they have got certain elites that have got shares in those companies that don't represent the communities or the people that live in this country or in the city.
Naloke futhi kulwazi ukuthi lento kayiqala ukwenzeka kusukela enyakeni ka1994 bakhona ke vele labo abasemazingeni aphezulu ebebesithola ke beba ingxenye yalezi inkontileka kodwa ke nabo abakazi babasize abasemazingeni kaphansi njengoba ke futhi kukhulunywa ngalomthetho osivivinyo ke nje kusazobhekwa futhi ebantwini kabafanayo okusho ukuthi ke labo ababese ngasizakala ngeqaleni basazoqhubeka futhi baphinde bengasizakali kuphinde kunikezwe labo ababese betholile vele kusukela enyakeni ka1994.
And I can't understand why we are shifting the responsibility to the Petroleum Association of South Africa for them to be referee and player. They have failed in their oversight. If you look at the refineries in Durban or in Cape Town or in Total or in Sasolburg, they're in a mess. What role do they play in oversight because they've done nothing? In fact, people have complained bitterly that the Petroleum Association has failed, not only in the mining, but also in the oil refineries. Yeah, you can imagine how they're going to run, how they're going to manage the drilling.
Kuphinde ke futhi kumangaze kakhulu ukuthi kungani uhulumeni efuna ukukhomba ke ngenjumbane okanye ekhombe ke iminwe lapha kulabo abaphethe ngasohlangothini ke lokwenziwa kwawo kumsebenzi ke lo ukukhiqizwa kwawoyela wasolwandle kanye ke nayo ke igas. Kungani kufike kube yibona abashaya umthetho kuphinde futhi kube yibona abawulandelayo kungabe khona umuntu ozokwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi ke bona bayagadwa kuba basebenza ngendlela yini bakhomba ke iminwe inkampani enjengo Shell inkampani enjengo Sasol nenkampani ke enjengabo ko OBP no Engine kodwa ke bona ngasohlangothini ke lwabo akukho okucacile nokukhulumekayo ukuthi ke ukuhluleka ke kwabo bazoqonda kanjani noma bazoqondisa kanjani ukuthi ke esikhatheni esizayo kube impumelelo.
It is clear that what is trying to be created here is similar to what they've done to ESCOM. We have a Minister of Enterprise, we have a Minister of the Minerals and Energy, now we have a Minister of Electricity. What is going on? Do we need the same here as well? 3 people when 1 person could do the work. Or employ workers, more workers and less ministers. That's what we need.
Kucacile kulomthetho osivivinyo ukuthi ke into eqonde ukwenziwa la uhulumeni ukuthi nje usinikeza ke into efanayo nalethi siyibonile yenzeka lapha kwa-Eskom ukusola sinongqongqoshe ke abathathu kodwa ke ababhekelele into eyodwa mawuthi uyabheka sinomngqongqoshe obhekelele ke ugesi ungqongqoshe obhekelele ke izinkampani zikahulumeni ungqongqoshe obhekelele kwezokumbiwa phansi ke namandla okuyinto ebukeka iyodwa ke emehlweni ke ngabe yinto leyo esimisele ngokuyenza yini na kulolu hlelo oluphakanyiswa kulomthetho osivivinyo kwesunikezwayo ngoba kungabe kunikezwa amathuba omsebenzi abantwini abaningi kunokuthi kuqashwe ke abantu ke ngamunye bebe ngqongqoshe beholeke eningi imali.
The bill fails completely. It does not address the protection of the commons, of our water resources, of our land, of our soil, of our air. This bill is giving carte blanche to the oil moguls and the minister to do what he wants to do, and the society will pay the price. And that's the weakness of this bill. It gives power to 1 person, even though it's divided in subsection all over, but it gives power to 1 person where
the bill is not going to help us as the people. And so, like you heard my brothers here, they've come up and sister and said, well, we've been fighting, wanting to get a bit of this here for years and got nowhere. This is going to be the same thing where people are going to be, where they're going to be pushed from pillar to post. And that's why the bill must reject it completely.
Okubi ngalo mthethosivivinyo okubi kakhulu ngalo mthethosivivinyo ukuthi ke awunikeze amandla ebantwini bomphakathi okanye amalungu omphakathi angenawo kamakhono nokuqonda ukuthi ke bangangena kanjani sibabe ingxenye yokusebenza ke kulemboni kawoyela nayo ke igas okusho ukuthi ke vele bangabantu abangeze ukuthola lutho kuloluhlelo ingakho sizoma la sithi ke lo mthethosivivinyo ke ophakanyiswayo siyawuphikisa sithi ke cha awungaye ke phambili ke enhlobo ngoba ke uyinhlekelele awunalo usizo ebantwini abangamalungu omphakathi uzele nje ukuzosiza ke abantu abambalwa okubala phakathi kokunye ke ongqongqoshe nalabo abazobe ngabanikazi balezo inkampani ke ezinkulu ezobe zithola ke imali ke kule umsebenzi kodwa abantu bakithi basale ke bona besenkingeni ke enkulu siyabonga.
No, thank you. We at this point going to take another round of hands, and we can do that immediately. I would, because we have the 10 chairs here, I would immediately take the 5 from this side, 5 from this side, so that we can get progress. I see the gentleman there, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because you are 5, see, just the, right. Can we have yourself with the caps there, and then the gentleman, and then the lady there, yes, yourself in the pen in hand. The gentleman with the tracksuit, is it? Navy blue, yes. And the gentleman here. Are we? Does it add up to the 10? Is it more than 10? All right. In the next round, I will start by yourself, sir. Now you have seen how the first group of people who contributed dealt with time. You know, normally when we go towards the end, people will start leaving and so on. So let us just be considerate of time. I'm not as generous as the chair with the 5 minutes. I'm going to limit it to not more than 3 minutes so that we can all have a way of participating in this important issue at hand. So you can proceed.
Sizocela ukuthi ke sinikezane ke isikhathi ke esingekho siningi kakhulu ngezathu sokuthi ke sibaningi sifuna ukubeka imbono uma ngabe ukhuluma ucabangela bezemva kwakho ukuthi ke isikhathi singadleki kakhulu ngoba abantu baye baphume ke holo uthola ukuthi ke umsebenzi awusenzeki ngendlela so cela nje isikhathi sisibeke lapha ke emzuzwini ke emithathu singadluleke kulokho siyabonga sewungaqala ba
Sanibonani.
Greetings.
Ngizobingelela iParliament la kwezongumbiwa lo khulumayo usomkhanda wakubo kwababo wakhe le eNewcastle.
I will greet the portfolio committee before us today. My name is Somkanda and I'm coming from Newcastle.
Let me interrupt you, sorry. The noise levels are are getting higher. People say when you start getting tired, the noise levels goes up. So can we just respect so that we can get the audio very, very well for purposes of discussing further?
Sizocela nje bakwethu ukuthi sehlise kancane ukukhuluma ukuze sizokwazi ukuzwa lo baba ophambi kwethu ukuthi ke ubeka uthini.
Ngiyabaxolisela. Lo khuluma la usomkhanda wakubo kababo wakhe okuthiwa wontini lenye ukhasela ngingaphansi kwesisonke organization Environment Justice Network.
I would like to apologize on their behalf, Honorable Chairperson. My name is Somkanda. I am coming from Newcastle under the organization
Sisonke Organization Environment Justice Network.
at Sisonke Environmental Organization. Environment
Justice Network.
Justice Network, thank you.
Ngiyabonga baba. Ngicela ukushaya nje amagalelo mhlawumbe abemabili. Ngingeze ukudla isikhathi ngoba bese ngilulekiwe. Laba mfowethu nginenkinga yokuthi sisonke masibuka la uhulumeni lomthetho webill ushayelo ubani uvelaphi lomthetho esiqhamuka thina sesifunzwa ngawo esingawazi esiqhanywa sekuthiwa nje wozani sizontshena kahle kahle thina zotshelwa thina sifana njengabantu abagitshelwe noma abaqhoqhoshelwe ezweni labo ngoba thina sisezweni lethu la kodwa uhulumeni akanandaba nathi uhlangana namazwe angaphandle ezositshela hayi ukuthi ezoqhamuka ethi bafowethu yazi bengicabanga ukwenza ukuthi uqhamuka ezositshela ngento esikhona vele kusho ukuthi kwalohulumeni okhona la uphathela umthetho indoda engizoyibeka nje ngithi akusindoda kahle umuntu wesilisa ngoba awukwazi ukuzotshena abantu baphesheya bekutshena ezweni lakho uthi yenzani uyafunzwa yonke into esiyitshenwayo eqhamuka emazweni aphesheya njengoba ngeke ngeze uza kwethu ethi ikhona i-engine I'm sure isithi ayisiwe ngokubona kwakhe phesheya kusho ukuthi kwathina sesithengisiwe amandla.
It's concerning, Honorable Chairperson, when it comes to a bill of this nature, because it does seem to me as if a decision has already been taken as to what is going to happen about the bill. So the only thing that is happening here today is a formality to say to us that at least you've came to consult with us. But I don't think any meaningful contribution from our part can do anything. It does not even seem that our government is a genuine party to us, simply because the decisions are not made by the government, by the look of things. They are made elsewhere by those multinational companies abroad in Europe. And this government is then been told what to do. It's been told how to treat its people. So we don't feel represented, and we have a problem with that because this is our country, this is our land, and we must have a say in what happens in our land.
Ngiyabonga mhlonishwa ingilozi izosuka ihambe mina ngumuntu wasemakhaya ophambanisa izinkuni kanje ngicela ukushaya ngendlule ngoba phela kuyayithiwa lekhiso ke lingenasici cha into ehluphayo la iyodwa nina bakwezulu eliphezulu parliament elikhulu bakhulu nina bafowethu kodwa angazi noma kuyanhlupha nithina ngathi inhlalo yethu la ngoba mangabe ngithatha ngibheka manithi niyothatha uoil olwandle kusho ukuthi nina ninandaba nemvelo ukuthi ofish bayaphela basiza ngani thina mabesolwandle ngale kokuthi sibadle lezi lokazana esolwandle kusho nje vele indaba yazo ayinandaba kahle kahle izwe nje uhulumeni uyalibulala njengoba engenandaba nathi ingakho ngithi umuntu wesilisa indoda ngeke ivume ukuzoshayela amanye amadoda ezweni lawo ngenxa yemali iyahlupha indaba yemali ngoba iqedizwe ngoba kubanithiwa akusimali thina njengosisonke namanje ngithi angivumi le ndaba le bill ezokwenziwa la kuzodliwa imali nje yethu yentela engabe siyadla kuvuleka amathuba emisebenzi simoshi isikhathi sethu esingaka sizohlala la ngoba inkulumo sesiyithola kuphi kuma social media kodwa thina sinemayini inqwaba ngale ngakithi eyikhipha ilahla balibiza anthracite coal kodwa asikaze sine isco lesigcina esolometal asizakala ngalutho abantu bakithi bangahamba ubhekele emazweni akithi abaningi abantu abasebenzi babambe enzima kodwa umnotho wethu uyathatha usiwaphesheya umbuzo wami wodwa ke hulumeni mangabe ukuthi wena unendaba nathi uke wezani wena eNewcastle njoba kunemayini sinayo thina ifarmers hall indawo enkulu engakhona ukuthi hoste izihoste ngisho abantu abasekuhlaleni ngale kwaseThawini ukwayihlupha ukuzosibona thina ngale sengigcina ke mhlonishwa wami ngoba ngithe ngiyahlaba ngiyadlula la ngiyacela sihlalo uphi usihambile angikho kahle mangamboni kodwa bengifisa izwe lento ngoba sengishaya yokugcina ngci manje sinenkinga yemayini abayibiza ifuture coal ngale ngakithi ifuture coal mining engakubeka ngokusobala ngisacela ukuthi ayichithe uhlalo ngisacela ukuthi ayivale akayivale uhlalo ngoba isholo yona yathi ihlulekile kodwa ubani uRagavoni le ndoda yangapha enhla angifuna ukusho ukuthi kuphi kodwa khona indoda yangapha ngenhla ayifuna ukuzoyivala le mayini ngani na uhlulekile ukugcina i-social and labor plan ka-2019 to 23 imchithileke leyo nto leyo besicela le mayini le masizonilayela mawufika nje eNewcastle uya ngasempondo ejele ikhona lapho leyo mayini abayibiza ifuture coal very corrupt asiding uma ukuthi uhulumeni soyohlala khona emasangweni ngoba na last sengigcina nilokhuzile uDMR usibalekele sithi siyakuye lapha ema-office last Sunday besila sayichitha indaba yebill nezo bafowethu nezo ma comrade siyichithile indaba yebill kodwa wabuya uhulumeni wathi siyiphasisile kusho ukuthi vele nina nizodlala ngathi yindaba ningaveli niyeke ukuhlala lapha ezihlalweni ngoba nasixhaphaza ngiyabonga
Honorable Chairperson, it is concerning on our part.
Order, let's hear the interpretation.
Thank you, Chairperson. It is concerning on our part, Honorable Chairperson. The understanding is that this bill does not seek to benefit us in any way. We don't see any benefits that is going to come out of this bill. We have quite a few concerns out of the bill, Honorable Chairperson. The first one is that we do have a mine called Future Coal in Newcastle. It is not fully operational, Honorable Chairperson. What we are expecting out of that particular mine is for it to be shut down completely and it to be closed because it's not assisting our people. They've already declared it themselves that the mine has failed to produce what they've promised to produce. So they've not benefited our people, and also that mine has failed. It should be collapsed, and that call for a collapsing of that particular mine should come from the Honorable Chairperson. So we're saying, Chair, you must go to Newcastle yourself and you must collapse that mine yourself. Because you are coming to us with this proposed bill. We are calling it a proposed bill. However, we do not believe it is a proposed bill. We believe that it's already been signed or it has already been agreed amongst yourselves as to what the decisions are going to be. We do have anthracite coal. That is a mine that is operating in the north of KZN as well. They are working that side, producing coal. However, they're not getting the support that they should be getting. We are the people of this land in the north of KZN. We are not receiving any attention from the part of the government. There is no assistance. We are also concerned about the environment when it comes to the ecosystem, the destabilization that is going to be happening in our oceans. We know and understand fully well that people who are living along the coast, do have an economy that they've established for themselves along the coast through fisheries. Now, what is going to happen to the ecosystem itself? What is going to happen with those fish